Oh my God. Imagine being the first seven to see anything great, anything worth seeing, anything worth experiencing, anything worth connecting. Imagine being the first seven. So I dedicate this episode, episode number 5, to my first seven that make me feel like 7,000. Literally, my heart is so full. So I save the introductions and I save the pleasantries for the right time. I did not do about me's and saying, hi, my name is this. I didn't do any of that in my first 4 episodes because those were core episodes that were around the post pivot handbook that I wrote. So I saved it for this time, and since I have an audience now, I feel like that is the perfect opportunity. I have all 7 of you guys. So my name is JL at They Love JL on Instagram. I am ageless, so I'm not telling my age. Y'all gonna stay out of my business like that. But I am grown and I have been through a lot of things in my life, and I feel like I have experience to speak on a lot of the things that I will talk about on my platform, whether that be about self, dating, business. And if I do not have the answers, I will have studies, and I plan to have people on this platform who are knowledgeable on certain topics that I may not have the expertise on because I value knowledge and sharing my platform with just like minded individuals and just visuals that are aligned on the same thing that my platform is based on. So I guess I'll get into what my platform is based on. The name, the post phase, baby, and I'm not going to change it. That is my name, and I love it. I really think that it has 2 things. So it has the shock factor. As soon as you hear it, you're like, what'd you say? Like, run it back again. And then once you really dive into the meaning in my books and my vision, you understand the analogy behind it. It is the phase after you're done tolerating the bull crap. You're done, not putting yourself first. You're done, not leaning into your purpose, not leaning into your destiny. You're done making excuses for these survival traits that you've built over time, and you're done making excuses for choosing less and doing less in life. And this isn't a safe space for, BSing and coddling and just making excuses for ourselves. Like that phase is done. This is for the people who are done with that phase. We're ready to take accountability. We're ready to laugh about it, talk about it, just congregate and just, build community. And I think anyone can benefit from this platform. I was literally talking to one of my coworkers today about this, and he is from a completely different walk of life, 40, almost 40-year-old man, suburban white guy. And he was like, well, I'm not a and I'm like, you know what? Yeah, you are. You probably are before. You've been a before. And once I got into the key traits of hypersexuality and all of the different ways that it shows up, like validation seeking, over functioning, and love bombing, flirtation, like all of the ways that it manifests physically, you start to see that a lot of us have more in common than we like to admit. And I told him that I call the people like that the high functioning. So we had a good laugh about it, and it was nice to be able to make that make sense to somebody who doesn't look like me or who wouldn't traditionally be called a. So it that is the reason why my platform is named the way it is, because it needs to grab people's attention. You need to be bold. You need to say what it is, like, and I put clinical definitions and studies behind these traits and what breaks down to what really is. And that's something that I break down in my book. And I guess I'll get into my book as well. It's so much that I'm talking about. Like, there's been the launch, there's me introducing myself, there's the book. Like, it's just so much. So, launch went great. Launch was perfect. Honestly, I couldn't ask for it to have been rolled out even better. Everything went flawless. All of my funnels and my links went well. Everything worked well. All 9 of my grid scheduled and was posted at the same time. The collab post between JL and the post-hoe phase, that went seamless. So I really couldn't ask for a better turnout. I think I had about 40 followers by the end of the weekend, which isn't bad for a holiday weekend. I did have a lot of us, a fair amount of views, and the views to follower ratio wasn't really working. I could tell there was some lurkers. I could tell there were some people who were just like watching or, maybe just waiting to see how serious this was. And hey, that's your business. But I could tell there were some people who were watching intently and didn't really follow, and that's okay. But I did some little like forecasting based off of the analytics off of my personal page just to kind of see, and I was off. But I digress. I sold my first book today. I got my first Patreon member today. So love that. And shout out to both of those people. I also got to 55 Instagram followers today. So shout out to that. TikTok is still kind of sitting a little low. I'm still learning TikTok. I'm an Instagram girly to begin with. I was not a TikTok girly, and I think TikTok is leaving here soon. So maybe I don't have to be a TikTok girly here soon. Or maybe the TikTok girlies can show me how to be a TikTok girly. Like comment below and tell me how to be a TikTok girly. Cause I think there's like you gotta have like a call to action, you gotta have like a hook, and sometimes my shit just be visual. You know what I mean? Like I just be serving a look. And I don't know if like TikTok is the place to serve looks. And then y'all be doing like the little jumpy templates and like flashing and all that other stuff. Like I do a little black fade. I do a little split. That'd be it. I don't really get too crazy with the transitions. Like even with my skits, like it was like cut to the next scene. It wasn't all that like rolling and like turning into a ball and newspaper. It wasn't doing all that. But so TikTok girlies, drop some tips for me. Let me see. This is the post pivot, not to be confused with the post phase, baby. The post pivot. When I get my distribution with my physical copies, because right now it's only available via ebook. But once I get my physical copies, it won't be printed like this. This is like my master copy, and I actually have some pages in here that were put so I could like read. I mean, like write notes and stuff like that. In case I want to make like version updates and stuff like that before it goes to the published version. Because with an ebook, you can make slight like adjustments after it's already published, like for typos and stuff like that. I don't have any typos, I don't believe, but I just want to like write any notes and stuff like that. And then I want to read my book from a viewer standpoint. It's been a few weeks since I read the book. So it'd be nice to like read it again with fresh eyes. So I got it printed, and the only way you can print it at Office Depot without like waiting a long time is like spiral bound. There's like another one. I think they had a tape bound, but tape bound like you had to register or do something like crazy like that, and I just wasn't feeling that. So this is the cover. It's me. This was from my birthday shoot, my Kisses All Over birthday shoot, which was kind of like a little Easter egg for the post-hoe phase because, like I said, this idea has been conceptualized since Christmas of last year, Christmas Eve of last year. So I always knew that I was going to do this, and I always knew it was going to play out like this. I just had to do all the planning and execution and coordination for it. So I wore the kiss motif in the red and the black and the white. That's kind of been my scheme and my thing. And I've been dropping these little like hints and little Easter eggs along the way. But so yeah, this is the post pivot. I always have to do the censored over the because certain platforms don't allow it. The only platforms that I could actually have like on my logo is my Patreon, and I do like my Patreon has everything like with the cuss like a cuss words. There's no beeps. Everything's uncensored. They get my BTS. They get like my video diaries. I don't have anything like heavily edited on my Patreon. So the post pivot playbook, a raw guide to reframing and profiting from the traits you adapted in survival mode. So this is a guide that helps you Do exactly what it says. I am weaponizing all of those things that people said about you that were negative. We're turning them into cash, baby. So they said that you're blunt. They said you're too outspoken. They said you're too loud. I'm going to teach you how to use your voice to help people find it, to find your people, to embrace people and not use it for negativity or to hurt people. You're an overthinker. Okay, we're going to use that overthinking to think up a business plan. You're an overfunctioner. Let's use that overfunctioning to create delegation tools and tools that make people who are over functioners be able to do even more. You know what I mean? Like, I am reframing people's mindsets, and that's what I want to do. I want to turn everything that you learned in these negative moments, these dark moments when we were children, or whatever phase in life that you developed this. I want to, one, name it, say what it is, admit that it's okay. Take accountability for whatever parts you played or whatever was out of your control or what even happened. Like, sometimes just naming it and saying what it is like freeing. It takes a weight off of you. So I like to name it, claim it, and define it. And claiming it is more so like, now that we've named what it is, we've taken accountability, we're claiming it. Now, like, this is we're no longer calling it our zodiac or our personality and our quirks and kinks and stuff like that. Like, we're gonna we're about to define it. We're gonna talk about what those certain traits are, like validation seeking and fantasy prone syndrome and all of these different things. And not only do I define these things, because that wouldn't be fair for me to just say, this is what you're doing wrong, this is what it is, and bye. No, I not only, like, I talk about what they look like in real life, giving real life scenarios in a way that you can digest. I'm not about to be on no, oh, Sally is crying and you push her down. Like, no, it's gonna be you over here on this man who done your pH. He got you over here stinking, smelling like fish. He got you over here crashing out. He got you over here arguing with over some dumb. You ain't making no money. That ain't productive. You over here about to leave your job. You ain't got no PTO. You about to leave your job to go stalk a. No, we're not doing that. So I give real life examples on what these traits are. So that way you can understand it. I ain't about to do just that clinical mumbo jumbo and just be like, according to this study, no. I give you a real example, then I give you the study. Let me talk to you in your language first, and then I'm gonna break it down and say what it really is. And then after I do that, I talk about why it's dangerous to continue this pattern in your life, where that's going to lead you, rather it be resentment, rather it be low self esteem, rather it be, whatever, hypersexuality. I talk about why it's dangerous to continue those patterns. And then after I talk about why it's dangerous, I give clinical tips on what you can do to repattern that. I'll talk about how, in validation speaking, exposure therapy and rejection therapy can help with validation seeking and how to make steps to head that way. I also talk about how we can use those traits to pivot to finance, profitable or career choices or different entrepreneurial opportunities. I talk about how we can use those opportunities to find love or to be better lovers, and I also talk about how we can just be better people, how we can repattern these traits to just be good to ourselves and to be good to the people around us. So it's a really good read, and it's less than 100 pages, so it's a little bit less than 100 pages, 82 pages. And I also include a glossary at the end where all of those big words that I break down throughout the book, I put definitions just in case you missed them the first time. And I also cite all of my studies and sources and organize them by the type, rather it be about behavioral, rather it be about the hypersexuality, rather it be about child upbringing and studies like that. So I put a lot of effort and love in this book, and I really hope it finds the people who really need this message. There are people who think that they don't need this message, who I think anybody can benefit from any of the negative that you've had. Your negative or survival traits may have not manifested in your body count, but maybe they manifest it in, that one guy that you let play with you for too long, or, that, business opportunity that wasn't so legitimate, and you're ready to legitimize yourself and get out of that. You're ready to take those traits that you learned on the streets and use them to do something better with your life. So I'm all about that. That's literally my entire mission. Every single thing bad that happens, like, we're gonna reframe it. You know, we're we're gonna have our moment. I'm not saying that I'm gonna be like, oh, no pity, suck it up, do what you gotta do, whatever. No, I'll allow a moment, but that's what it's gonna be, a moment. After that, tighten up. It's time to get to work, baby. It's time to pivot. We cannot live there forever because we've already lived there long enough. And I know you have. You ain't been only living there for a day. So I have a little section that I'm going to read from the book just to share with you guys. And this is from chapter 1, section 2. I think this section is called Most of Us Weren't Trying to Be Sexy. We Just Wanted to Be Seen. And I know a lot of people can understand that message, or even when it's not, let's even change the adjective of sexy. Like, I just wanted to be stable. I just wanted, to have a roof over my head. I just wanted to, not have to beg anybody for anything. I wanted to make a way on my own. I wanted to get it out the mud by myself. I just wanted to do that. I didn't want to be this person. I didn't want it to manifest into these negative things. I didn't want it to go this far. I just wanted to provide. So that's what that message is. And I really want you guys not to wrap so much around the whole, the sexy, the different analogies that I use. Anyone who had good intentions to begin with and they acted out of necessity and survival, and it oftentimes goes too far, they can resonate with this messaging. It doesn't have to just be getting your doonies beat down, okay? All right. So let me talk about it. People think hypersexuality means sex addiction. No, some of us don't fuck at all. We use sexual energy to soothe, bargain, distract, or manipulate. You are not exempt. It's not just about sex, it's about control, validation, power, attention, escape. Just because your hoe phase didn't rack up bodies doesn't mean it didn't count. If you've ever used sexual tension to get affection or opportunity, weaponized your beauty to navigate a space, caused chaos because peace felt too foreign, or played yourself just to get chose, you're not exempt. And we can turn this. Let's try to flip this in something that could be a little bit more universal. If you've used aggression or intimidation to get opportunity or affection, if you weaponize the appeal and the power you have over people, the control you have over people, the position you have over people to navigate and dominate a space, you're a if you've ever caused chaos, because I can keep that universal, that don't need to be changed. Because peace felt too foreign, you know what you are. And if you've ever played yourself to get chosen or settle for less or taking deals or taking opportunities just because you felt like you should, or hung with people just because you felt like you should, you are not exempt. Okay. So that's just a little bit of taste from the book. And that's some of the things that I talk about. Like, we're getting down, we're taking accountability. And by second chapter, we've already taken accountability. We've called it what it is, we've named it, and now we about to claim it and define it. So, and I also go into some other things after I talk about ways to pivot because it happens to a lot of us. Once we start making a little money, we start pivoting, we start forgetting about discipline and we start forgetting about our values, or, if those things get snatched from us just as quickly, we start panicking and marketing ourselves in a way out of panic. So I talk about that as well. And that could also happen before the pivot too. So I talk about panic monetization. I talk about how to turn visibility into value, how to put some of your traits and some of the things that make you so magnifying and so make people draw into you so much, how to turn those into like a business opportunity or just a way to profit off of them and to safely do that. And you know I don't really go into depths of, I'm not about to tell you, oh, this is the career trait and like this is exactly every single step. Like, no, it's more so like I'm showing you the path, it's on you to do the work to get there. I am not about to hold your hand unless you are in my Pivot Patreon tier. I will talk to people one on one. I will, get with people one on one and be able to talk about more like particular situations, and we'll be able to have more open forum talk conversations. But as far as in the book, there's only so many pages, baby. And I also like want to open doors for more one on one coaching and like consulting in the future. And I also want to open doors for more books because now that I feel like I can now, not even now that I feel like it, now that I've actually done it and I've sold one, the sky's the limit. I'm about to write another book. Like I've already told myself that I'm gonna write another book before the year is over. I'm not gonna drop the name and I'm not gonna drop what it's called yet because I like to work in secrecy. I like to drop bombs. I like to do my like I hate to, I ain't trying to say I'm Beyonce, but I like how Beyonce does her drops. I like how Beyonce is working like a maniac behind the scenes. People have no idea what she's cooking up. And you guys always can drop in the comments some of the things that you guys like want to see me talk about a little bit more. Like for instance, I'll just share some of the episodes, future episodes that I have in mind. So one of mine is like rejection is redirection. I talk about that concept. I talk about how y'all messing up the game. Y'all messing up the game. Men and women, we both. We messing it up for everybody. Seriously. We got to seek help for real because it just enough is enough. Like people don't even know how to carry a conversation now. People don't even know how to say sorry no more. It be people that and then walk right past you instead of just saying, my bad, or they just, what is wrong? What is going on? Like Marvin Gaye said, what is going on? Seriously, it's too much, and y'all messing up the game. Like, I mean, like the bitch that's taking for less and on a pick me stuff. I mean, they doing too much for free. Like, you over here letting a dude use you, or you letting a girl use you, and or y'all over here like pandering to people, and it's y'all messing up the game. Y'all messing up the game. I'm telling y'all. And even social media is messing up the game. Like I said, y'all wasn't supposed to see all these baddies. Y'all wasn't supposed to see all these bad. Like a used to see. It used to be one bad in the neighborhood that 10 wanted. She was the baddie in the neighborhood. There was one that all of them wanted. It wasn't it wasn't like this. It wasn't like this. So I have that. I talk about, oh, I'm healed, but I still hate you. And that's going to be one of my favorites because I talk about how a lot of different things, a lot of different feelings can coexist together. Like even how shame is a secondary emotion, how I talk about that in my book. How shame is a feeling that is carried on top of something like fear or inadequacy or something. I talk about how hate is the same thing. Hate is usually a secondary emotion that's accompanied with even, ironically, love or jealousy. So I talk about how, healing can still be accompanied with hate. How just because you've healed from something, just because you've done that work, does not mean that that hate has not turned into some type of discernment against a person, place, or thing. We talk about how flued out is a scam. Getting flued out is a scam. Has actually more trouble, especially if you are a girl who has a job, has kids, has animals, has like real hobbies and things going on. How getting flued out is not a perk. Like, depending on the circumstances, it's gonna get very expensive to make it worthwhile. I gotta put PTO in. Sorry, babe. I gotta run that by my team. I got people under me now. I can't do that like that. So that's another one. I talk about how the word female is diet for bitch. And I talk about how people don't learn how to wash their ass until they're a certain age. So there's a lot of different topics that we'll talk about, and I look forward to talking about them all. I will be releasing episodes every week. Um, BTS and stuff will be on my Patreon. Patreon will get a little bit more than everything. Of course, I'll be on Instagram and TikTok daily, rather that be via stories or reels or DM away, whatever. But yeah, like I said, I like having conversations like this. This is so easy. I really filmed this in, I feel like 30 minutes. Like, I didn't even get any outtakes to make my blooper reel. I'm gonna have to make some bloopers. Or I'm gonna have to just do it like a video diary and just talk to my peoples. So this is actually easy than the scripted stuff. So maybe I'll just do this. Who knows? I don't have anything else to talk about. So like, share, comment, and subscribe. I really enjoyed all of you guys hanging with me today and visiting with me today. So